Whether we like it or not, our lives are constantly shaped by the adversity that we face each and every day and how we respond to that adversity. But today I'm going to encourage you to see obstacles as opportunities as we explore how our struggles can actually strengthen us. If we take a look at the achievements that we were able to attain, more than likely we can attribute much of that success to the challenges that we were able to conquer and the lessons that we were able to learn along the way. These experiences may not have always been enjoyable, but they can turn into examples that remind us of our ability to overcome, our ability to adapt, and our ability to persevere when it counts, when there is opposition and when life is difficult. Without a doubt, struggles both big and small make our life more difficult. And while this is true, they also can help us learn, grow, and lead us into becoming the people that we are meant to be. It's natural to want to seek an easy path that is free from difficulty or delay, but that won't change our lives. That won't help us improve and become something that's better, something that is more developed, a person who is prepared for the plans and purposes that God has placed in our life. We've all heard the phrase, no pain, no gain, but we know that pain alone doesn't produce anything. Rather, it's learning from that pain through critical thinking and pushing forward when things get rough. Because you know that you're contending for a dream that's worth fighting for. One way or another, everyone knows what it's like to struggle and to deal with difficult situations. But not everyone understands what it takes to use those experiences to benefit themselves or those around them. Despite our best efforts, failures and setbacks happen from time to time. While sometimes circumstances are beyond our control, we need to be honest and fair when it comes to assigning credit and blame to go where it is deserved, so that we have a very honest analysis and a clear understanding of where we are and what we're going through. Whether it was inevitable or not, we should never waste a failure. Instead, we should learn why it happened, what we could do differently, and figure out how to prevent it from happening again. If we see obstacles as opportunities, then we can discover the valuable lessons that can be learned from dealing with those struggles and use them to help us succeed, to help us overcome, and to help us make a difference in this world by sharing those stories and testimonies with those around us, to show them that it is possible to make a breakthrough in a similar situation to theirs, and to give them hope and an example to work from so it could benefit their life as well. Whether or not you are someone who is open to sharing your struggles, you probably have benefited listening from someone who did. When a person reveals the road that they've traveled on and explain how they overcame an obstacle or opposition, it provides a powerful example of what's possible for all of us or anyone who's in a very similar situation. Throughout human history, people have always been drawn to compelling stories that not only captivate our attention, but also inspire us as we connect to the characters who beat the odds and who discovered themselves along the way. Growing up, I loved movies like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, where there was a hero from humble beginnings who took an amazing adventure where they were able to prove themselves, not only to others, but to the person who they see in the mirror, to show that they are capable of doing great things, that they provide a value to those around them, and that when the stakes were high, they did what it took to be the hero and to save the day when it mattered most. The concept of the hero's journey comes from writer Joseph Campbell, who explored this concept that speaks to the power that great stories have to connect us to characters who help us better understand ourselves and provide examples, whether realistic or not, of how individuals can conquer the challenges that they face. Each of us is the hero in the story that is our life. Similar to the protagonist of a narrative, we know what it's like to face opposition, as it helped reveal our character, demonstrate our true abilities, and helped us to understand who we are as individuals. Maybe we didn't duel Darth Vader or have to travel across Middle Earth, but we certainly know what it's like to battle against discouragement and self-doubt, and to know that we have real life adversaries who stand against us and our goals, and how to approach that. Looking back on my own life, there are a lot of struggles that I've had to overcome, but one continues to help me to this day, and that's my time playing football in high school. And even though I played flag football when I was younger, flag football and tackle football are completely different for the most part. And when it came to putting on a helmet and shoulder pads, I had quite the learning curve ahead of me. I was never the biggest, the strongest, the fastest player on the field. And even though nothing really came easily for me or immediately, I still loved it. I loved the game of football. I loved being out there with my friends. And I loved the opportunity that I had to prove myself, not only to my teammates, not only to my coaches, but to me, to see that I could take on a challenge that was difficult and accomplish a goal that I set in front of me. And when I started out, I was raw. I had a lot of work to do. My fundamentals needed fixing, and I struggled to compete for time at first against a lot of guys who had more experience, who had more ability. But I was willing to put in the work. I was willing to make the effort because it mattered to me. One of the greatest lessons that I learned playing football is that you can only control what you can control. The rest you can try to mitigate, but we will always have limitations with our reach. And in my first 2 years of playing football, I quickly noticed that the amount of effort and work that I was pouring in was not equating to the amount of playing time that I was seeing or that I would like to see. But what it did show me is that effort wasn't my problem. My problem was that I wasn't doing the other things. I wasn't showing that I understood the playbook well enough. I wasn't showing them that I could be consistent when it came to my fundamentals and the things that actually mattered in terms of adding value to the team, the things that would get me that starting time, that playing time that I was after. So it was then that I took the initiative to learn from my struggles and try to fix them. I hit the weight room, the gym, when it was during the season and during the off season to try to gain a little bit more weight, a little more muscle, to get a little bit faster. I worked on my fundamentals with my coaches, with my dad, with my friends, and I studied my playbook as much as I could, not just so that I knew my own position, so that I could know the other positions around me, to know the whole strategy of the play, and to be an asset. If a guy did have a question, I could show that I had that knowledge. And I did all of this because I wasn't going to quit on my team. And I wasn't going to quit on myself as I pursued this dream that I was going to fight for, that I was going to make a reality by taking the steps that were needed to make it so. While it took a lot longer than I would have preferred, I made meaningful progress year after year, to the point where I did accomplish my goals. And by my junior and senior year, not only was I starting, but I was on offense, defense, special teams as a starter, eventually as a captain, and playing multiple positions depending on the game. And throughout this whole process, it was such a huge turnaround because of understanding my struggle, understanding what I could do to fix it, and even more than that, seeing my impact on those around me. I wanted to be an asset to my team. So all the sacrifices I made, the things that I wanted to do, wasn't just to score touchdowns and to meet my goals or to make the most amount of tackles. It was because I wanted to do something that was challenging, that I believed that if I took the proper steps and put in the work and learn, that I could make that dream a reality. Fortunately and unfortunately, there will always be new challenges, no matter how capable or successful we become. We shouldn't view this as a bad thing though, because our greatest triumphs often come after our greatest trials. Not only does this make our life more interesting sometimes, it adds meaning to what we do and helps us to better understand what motivates us. As a Christian, I know that there will always be trials in my life, but those trials and tests can become testimonies that can be used to encourage others and point to where God has changed my life, how He's led me when I didn't know where to go or what to do. And I think that's powerful and something that connects us and something that we all need for each other. Now, this doesn't mean we have to love our struggles all the time, but we can still appreciate how they change us and make us better people. When looking at how we could use our struggles to help others, we have to be mindful that the journeys that we've taken, the things that we've accomplished, they don't just help us. They could be examples that encourage those around us, to show them what could be done, and to maybe lend a hand and to believe in them, to say, hey, if this happened for me, maybe it could happen for you too. Let me show you what I did. Let me show you what I struggled with, where I succeeded, where I failed, so that maybe your road could be a little bit easier than mine. But mainly so that I can show you that I care, that I'm invested with you, and that I can point you toward accomplishing the goals and expectations and dreams that you have. Because it's not all about me. It's about what I can do to serve you. As we grow and get older, there will always be new challenges, and with them, new opportunities as well. It's important that we begin to see our struggles as a path towards success, rather than the thing that stands in our way of it, and discover how answering adversity, whether we do it right or wrong, could be a great opportunity for learning and for growth and for development. We succeed not because of our lack of struggles, but because we were able to learn from those struggles, those failures, those setbacks, in order to find a path that led to success, in order to find a way that bettered ourselves. Opposition can either make us or break us. It's up to us to decide how we're going to respond to it. Failure is only inevitable when we don't even try in the first place. You'll never hit a home run if you never step up to bat. This doesn't mean that we'll always be successful, but what it does mean is that we'll always have the opportunity to find that success, to work for it, or to fail and try to fix it. Now, there may be challenges that are greater than we can handle. And it's at those times that we need to not only remember who we are, but we need to remember whose we are. And we need to give those things, those worries, those concerns, those burdens before God, and allow Him to lead us, to show us what we need to do, to show us how we need to trust Him and put our confidence in His ability that goes farther than our own. One of my favorite verses is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, which says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is a great reminder for all of us who are doers, who maybe like control a little bit too much and think that everything is within our grasp, because it's not. I'm limited. My strength is limited. My perception is limited. My understanding is limited. So I rely upon God to fill in the gaps where I need to in order to accomplish the plans and purposes that He has placed before me. Another scripture that I think really speaks to the heart of this message comes from James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, which say, My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. I love this verse because it speaks to the value that our struggles hold in producing something that is new, something that is needed, and something that benefits us as it makes us stronger. It helps us grow and become the people that we're meant to be. be the people who have love and light and want to share that in a way that helps other people in a meaningful way. Because we've seen our own transformation, we've seen our own change, our own story that we can use towards spreading the gospel and bringing more light into this dark world. My friend, if you are in a situation that seems impossible, I encourage you to seek and partner with the Lord, the God who made the heavens and the earth, who made both the sea and the sky and holds all power and dominion in the palm of his hand. He might not give you exactly what you want, but I promise you he will provide exactly what you need when your heart, when your mind, when your mission is aligned with his, so that you can accomplish the plan and the purpose that he has placed before you. Whatever tomorrow brings, be strong and of good courage, my friends, knowing that you were made to make a difference in this world. I hope that these words may continue to encourage you, bring value to your life, and inspire you to become your best so that you can give your best towards serving others. If this content has been helpful, valuable, and meaningful to you, please like, share, subscribe, and make sure to comment below. God bless, and I'll see you soon.